example that we had discussed in the previous class, it was basically a winter heating process which was carried out. So the atmosphere may be at 2 degrees Celsius and saturated, and you want to heat this air to 40 degrees Celsius and probably supply into a room which is heated. And the flow rate of the air, the volume flow rate is also given. Now here you are required to calculate the rate of heat addition. Okay, so it will finally come out in some kilowatt number. So you want to find out the heating capacity. Now you may be using an electrical heater, but then for such a large heating capacity, using an electrical heater may not be a good option economically as well as environmentally. And one can think of finding some other ways which were discussed in the previous lecture. So basically, in case you are using a coil, it may not be electrical coil, it may be a heating coil where you are using some other hot fluid to heat air. So what should be the capacity of that coil? Or there need not be only one coil, there may be multiple coils, and you are achieving this capacity with the help of that. So what is the heating capacity required? If these are the conditions of inlet air, outlet conditions have been prescribed, you are only going for sensible heating, and the volume flow rate of air is given. Okay, so as you know, the state 1 is 2 degrees Celsius and saturated. Right, so that was also shown with the help of this chart. It was somewhere here, this point, 2 degrees Celsius saturated. So, right, it is this point, and from that you are going for sensible heating. So it's a horizontal straight line that you are drawing from this point. Okay, horizontal straight line that you are drawing from this point up to 40 degree Celsius. So it will start from here and go horizontally up to 40 degree Celsius, right? So this is the process. Okay, this line, what I am drawing, may not be perfectly horizontal. That's the limitation of drawing here. Okay. So roughly this is the thing that is happening. Now I want to do the calculations with the help of formula and not with the help of the value that I get from psychrometric chart. Right. So let's do that. Okay. So the first thing is, let's find out the volume flow rate of dry air. The volume flow rate is given. Volume flow rate of moist air is given. The mass flow rate of dry air is to be found, as it is, as you can see this calculation here. So it's nothing but volume flow rate of moist air divided by specific volume. And specific volume, the unit that we use is meter cube per kilogram of dry air. And what is the formula to be used for this specific volume? The formula is this, what you see on this left hand side, V is equal to 0.287042 into bracket T. T is the temperature that you are talking about, dry bulb temperature. When you simply write T, it is dry bulb temperature. When you write T star, it is wet bulb temperature. And T is to be put in degrees Celsius. So here it is 2. If you are talking about state 1, then 1 plus 1.607858 capital W. This W is nothing but the moisture content. W is the moisture content, or it is humidity ratio. Humidity ratio. Now, how do you get the humidity ratio? In case you have any clue how to get the humidity ratio, you can put it in the chat box for state 1. And obviously the same is the humidity ratio for state 2, because it's a process where this is W is remaining constant. And P, we will assume it to be sea level pressure 1 atmospheric pressure 101.325 kilopascal, and P will be you put in kilopascal. So you will put it 101 kilopascal or 101.325 kilopascal. Okay. Yeah, so put those numbers and get the specific volume, and at 2 degrees Celsius, this air enters a heating coil at a rate of 10 meter cube per second, right? So the way the things are given, it seems that the volume flow rate is measured before the heater, before the heating coil, 10 meter cube per second. So you should take the specific volume at 0.2, right? So here you get the specific. Now the question was how to get this W. Probably I haven't got any answer in the chat box. So this W is now at state 1, it is saturated. So this W is Ws at 2 degrees Celsius. So you can refer the psychrometric tables for that. And here in these tables, as you can see, this first column is temperature in degrees Celsius. Second column is humidity ratio Ws. So if the air is saturated at this temperature, this will be the humidity ratio. It's given in kilogram of water per kilogram of dry air, right? So, but my temperature is not 15, my temperature is 2 degrees Celsius. So you can refer to this top 2. So it's 0.004382, right? So it gives it to such a precision, right? Such a high precision. So it's 4.382 gram of water per kilogram of dry air. So that's the value of W that you can use. Okay, at 2 degrees Celsius, right? And so that's the value that you will use in that formula. Now here we could have been found with the help of this table also. Though like at other points, if it is not saturated, you don't get it. As you can see, specific volume in meter cube per kilogram of dry air is also given as the 5th column. So at 2 degrees Celsius, again, you can get that 0.7845. So these things you can directly get from the table also. You may not need the formula for 1, right, for 0.1. So you can see here. So what is the mass flow rate? You want the mass flow rate. Volume flow rate is given 10 meter cube per second divided by 0.785 is the specific volume, which you either get from the table or you put the W here and put the temperature and pressure here and you get the same number. So you get the mass flow rate, which comes out to be 12.74 kilogram of dry air. Now this is just the mass of dry air, kilogram of dry air per second. Now you want to find out heating rate. So either you can do mCp delta T, because this is only sensible heating, mass flow rate into Cp of air into change of temperature of air, or enthalpy is a general property, right? Whether it is sensible heating or cooling, or it is latent purely, or it is combination of that, enthalpy will always give you this heating rate or cooling rate, the total heating rate or total cooling rate. Now here it's only sensible heating, so total cooling or sensible heating rate is one and the same. So you can get it by mass flow rate into change of enthalpy, as it is shown in this formula here, right? So you can simultaneously do the calculations and check whether you get the same number or not. And so this is mass flow rate into delta H, change of enthalpy. Now how do you get the enthalpy? At a given point, the formula for enthalpy is given here, right? This is the formula. So this formula has two parts. One, the first part, like if you have to remember the formula, how do you remember it? The first part is the sensible heating or sensible heat of dry air. So T is the temperature. It is assumed that sensible heat at 0 degrees Celsius is 0. So 2 is put in degrees Celsius If you are talking about point 2, it will be 2. If you are talking about the second point, then it is 40. Then W value you have already got from the table. W is equal to Ws at 1, and it's not going to change whether you're talking about 0.1 or 0.2. And 2501. 2501 is the, now this part, W into bracket. Inside the bracket, what you have is the heat content of water vapor. Heat content of water vapor. So it is assumed that the water has evaporated at 0 degrees Celsius. So 2501 is the latent heat of vaporization at 0 degrees Celsius. So 2501 is put, and after 0 up to whatever is the temperature, whether it is 2 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius, that number multiplied by 1.86. 1.86 is the value of specific heat of air, of water vapor. Okay, an average value of specific heat of water vapor, right? This is not liquid water, it is water vapor, which has evaporated from 0 to whatever is the temperature. So 1.86 into, let's say you're talking about second point, so it's 40. So that's how you get the enthalpy. So with this, you try to get the enthalpy. Now again, getting enthalpy for point 1 could be simple because it is saturated state. So you can refer to HS, right? You can refer to HS. So at 2 degrees Celsius, how much is HS? It is 12.981. So, but for point 2, you need to use the formula that was shown, right? Here they have used 13, very close to 12.9 something, right? So very close to 13. So that value is put here, and the number that you should get for point 2 should be 51.5. So you put your value of W, which is nothing but Ws, what you already referred from the table. Here at 2 degrees Celsius, it is 0.004382. When you do the calculations, put it in kilogram of water per kilogram of dry air, right? Don't put it in gram, otherwise there will be mistake of 10⁻3. So it's 0.004382, the value of W, and with the help of that and the temperature 40, and again 40 here, you get the enthalpy here, which should be 51.5. So 51.5 minus 13, that's the delta H, change of enthalpy, multiplied by the mass flow rate, gives you the required heating rate for achieving temperature of 40 degrees Celsius when the volume flow rate is 10 meter cube per second. Right, so that comes out to be 490 kilowatt. Okay. So it's a very high value of heating rate. So this could be a centralized heating system which provides you or which requires this much heating rate. The normal immersion heater that you use in, like say, heating the water in a bucket could be 1 kilowatt or 1.5 kilowatt or something. The electric heaters that, the electric, the geysers or water heaters that you use at home could have, of course, depending upon the size, could have the heating rate of 2 kilowatt or 3 kilowatt, or higher models could have higher heating rate also. But as compared to that, this seems to be much higher figure. So it must be a very big volume which must have been being heated. So this is an example on sensible heating, and it was explained how you can use the formula also for solving such an example. With the help of the formula, you get more accurate answer. So we talked about one of the psychrometric processes out of various psychrometric processes discussed in the previous class, right? So different types of psychrometric processes were discussed. Now, one of the very common processes undergone in air conditioning is cooling and dehumidification. Right? You also should know about, of course, it's not included here. It is mixing, adiabatic mixing. But one which I would like to start here or first talk about is adiabatic humidification, and the reason for that is the experiment that we are going to take now will be using that kind of psychrometric process. So I'm jumping to that as of now, and we'll come back to the other processes.